Hello and welcome back. We're on question number 19 now. How long is it before people start feeling better after having had this test carried out? Well, generally speaking, it's about 2 or 3 weeks. Some people a bit sooner, and other people it can take a bit longer. As I said before, no two people are the same, the brain's different. But generally speaking, I guess a month or so, you can expect an incredible difference and become healthy. So that's pretty good. How often should we have this test done? Well, once is enough to get healthy. You can stay healthy for years and years and years. Or you can come back every year if you choose to. Some people do. Quite a few people do, actually. It's a bit like tuning a car up. You can have it done once a year and stay in peak condition, or you can wait until you've got a few problems and then have it fixed. It's no different. It depends on what you want to do, and if you can get to have it done once a year, it's a good idea, and for what it costs, it's the best money you'll ever spend. We're going to talk about individual health problems in separate videos following this question and answer session. We'll do a bit on the book as well, I think, after this, but then we'll get into individual health problems such as eczema and asthma and how easy it is to get healthy. Okay, do you believe that the 40 or so everyday health problems that you deal with are always caused by food intolerance? Well, yes, they always have been, the ones I've dealt with anyway. Because when I treat for food intolerance, they get better. People go away and get better. So yeah, there may be things that happen in the body, and there probably are, that are not controlled by the brain, but most things are controlled by the brain, so if we can fix that, we can fix most problems. Is it the case that we often crave the foods that are bad for us? Some of you women will be smiling now with chocolate and stuff. Yeah, it happens. It's not always the case. I mean, drug addicts crave drugs. So, food's a drug. You can feel better when you have, I don't know, a piece of chocolate or a piece of chicken or a tomato. People can often say to me, well, I actually enjoy that. I feel good on it. Yeah, but, it doesn't mean it suits your brain. Drug addicts feel good when they take drugs. Just because you like the taste of something, it suits your tummy, a nice hot curry or whatever you like, it doesn't mean it suits your brain. And as I say, it's your brain that runs your body, not your taste buds or your stomach. A lot of these health problems, such as eczema, for example, are often put down to stress, aren't they? How would you explain that? Well, as I said earlier in previous videos, you don't get stressed when you feel good. When your brain's running properly, you just feel incredibly good. I don't think stress causes eczema. I don't think stress causes anything. I think people get stressed when their brain's not running properly. And that's a whole different way of looking at it. But as I say, fix the brain and you fix everything, including stress. You were saying before the show that you find a lot of problems with herbs. Surely herbs are healthy, aren't they? Are they? No. Nobody's checked it. Nobody knows what these things are doing to your brain. A herb is just another vegetable, and you've already heard me talking about vegetables. They may suit your brain, they may not suit your brain, but I do find a lot of problems with them. Heroin grows in the ground, and so does marijuana and stuff. These things are herbs too. Just because it's a herb, that wonderful healthy name, it doesn't mean it's good for you. You've got to check it. It makes food taste nice, sure, but it doesn't mean it suits your brain. I see here that you also check E-numbers. These, of course, are very bad for most people, especially children, where they cause hyperactivity. I've checked 10,000 people for E-numbers, and you can count on two hands the amount of times I've found a problem with them. Whether it be hyperactive children or anybody else. I've tested and cured hundreds of hyperactive children. I've had doctors send them to me from all over the world, only to find that it was something like the tomatoes or the chicken or whatever that Mum and Dad were trying to force them to eat that was causing the problem, sending the brain crazy. You can drink a bottle of whiskey and become hyperactive. You can eat a tomato and become hyperactive. And this is what happens to children. It's very rarely an E-number. I do check them because you never know, but it's very rarely a problem. Very rarely a problem. We're just brought up to believe it. These things are causing these problems. It doesn't mean it's right. What about cleaning chemicals in the home? We often hear of these causing health problems. Well, they could do. Yes, they could do. But I've never checked them. I've never had to check them to cure people. There may well be something, but I mean, how many products do we need to test? Check the major stuff, the everyday stuff, the foods we eat. And generally we'll find the answers there. If I have to look further, I do. And then when you read my book, you'll see many examples of that. But it's very rare that we have to look any further. So don't worry too much about those things. I mean, if you've got your hands in bleach or something every day, well, obviously you're going to be, you've got to be a bit careful. Most people will be sensible and put gloves on. But anything that gets into your body will affect your brain, so keep that at the back of your mind anyway. Could you do this scanning on babies? No. I've scanned a 2-year-old. I was very lucky. She was a very sensible 2-year-old and she enjoyed it. Didn't hurt her. But I do need the people to sit still for 15-20 minutes at least, and it's very hard to get a baby to do that. But what I do with babies is I give online advice. Babies' problems will be no different in many cases to an adult's, and I can give online advice to help to overcome that problem based on the information I've developed and the knowledge I've gained over the years in curing 10,000 people. So get in touch with me through my website, healthscan.co.uk. How would food intolerance testing help someone's immune system? Well, quite simply, the immune system is controlled by the brain. So fix the brain and it'll run your immune system better. It really isn't any more complicated than that. You'll find that you'll get bugs and things like most people do, coughs or colds will come at you from time to time, but you'll fight them better. You'll be in a better position, a stronger position. Your computer in your head is working better and it can deal with them in a far more competent manner. They just bounce off you. As well as checking for intolerance to 108 foods, it's interesting that you also check levels of vitamins and minerals, dusts and feathers, cats and dogs, and hair and so on. I imagine that animals do cause lots of health problems, especially asthma. Well, I've cured an awful lot of people with asthma. I've tested for animals and dusts and feathers for everybody I've ever tested. I've always checked those things. Again, you count on one hand, probably not two. It's one hand the amount of people who've had intolerance to this stuff. Any dust going up your nose, any dust going into your lungs, anything from anything, an animal or anywhere else will cause aggravation to the sensitive nerve endings that are found in there. But those nerve endings are only sensitive because you've eaten a tomato or chicken or cucumber or whatever it is that your brain didn't want in the first place. So into that signal, into that computer in your head goes a wrong signal. And out come wrong signals down wires called nerves. And those nerve endings become sensitive. And then any dust going in there will aggravate them even more and cause you to cough and sneeze and splutter or whatever it is. Dusts and such are not the cause of the problem, in my experience, and I'm curing people, so I must be getting it right. They're not the cause of the problem, they aggravate the condition. They just aggravate the condition. So fix the problem and you haven't got the condition. So dust and feathers and horses and all sorts of things that people have problems with don't bother you anymore. We get things like hay fevers at certain times of the year, at spring and so on, when pollens and things like that come out, very strong stuff that blows all over the countryside and up your nose. But these things will aggravate the condition and cause you to kick off and start sneezing. And of course once you do that, then you pick up a tissue, put it up to your nose, and then you fill your nose up and your throat up with more dust from the tissue. And you've held a tissue up to a beam of sunlight and seen all that dust. I'm sure all of us have some time or other. Well, that's always there, whether it's the winter or whether it's the summer or spring. That dust. So the dustier the tissue is, the more they sell them, I guess, because it makes you sneeze and you need another one. Not a bad business when you think about it. But anyway, all this stuff you can check out in my book too. Okay? Go and have a look, and it's full of very useful information. Do you find many deficiencies when you test for levels of vitamins and minerals? I find lots of vitamins. I test everybody for vitamins and minerals. I find about 1 in every 5 or 6 people are deficient. And these vitamins and minerals are the most important things in the body. It's like oil and water in a car. It's the same thing for the body. Vitamins and minerals are vitally important for bones and teeth and hair and all. But no doctors check them. It's ridiculous. Every doctor you've ever met should have checked these things. They're the most important things in the world as far as the body's concerned. And yet nobody even talks to you about them or checks them. There's something wrong somewhere. And as I say, about 1 in every 5 people I find are deficient in something to do with vitamins and minerals. Okay, I've got to go, run out of time. I'll talk to you on the next video. All the very best. Bye bye now.